Have you ever loved something so much that you just want to make it happen every day? Me neither. This is a podcast a day. Holy moly, that man's still going. Pod a day, 300 and I don't know. I really need to pee right now. And I've said this before, but for some reason, instead of just going beforehand, I don't, as it's some kind of challenge. It just makes, sometimes when I can't be asked, or like, it just adds a bit of it, adds some spice to because I know it's only going to be so long type thing. So I'm like, you know what, hold it. Um, you'll get by. I mean, if imagine the beauty if I could just piss right now and it be fine, right in my undercrackers. Wouldn't that be amazing? And I'm not talking about nappies. I'm talking about, if I was a wizard, that would be a reality. I could happily urinate right now or shit. I could feel my underwear with piss and shit, with the beauty and acknowledge and understand and acceptance, whichever the right word is, that there's a simple spell which would make that all go away within seconds. According to J.K. Rowling, this isn't new news, but it just came into my mind now as I'm sitting here wishing I could go toilet. I mean, I can, but it's like if you don't know, now you know. It's canon. I don't know where she said this, but wizards have a spell where they walk around and just piss and shit their robes because they can just whip their wands of the magical variety, and it all just disappears from there. Which, even if you could do that, I'd rather just not do that, because who wants to just the piss just drip at any point in time when you watch Harry Potter and you see some of the extras walking around in the background. Piss is probably just dripping down their legs right before they just sort of wish it away. Don't know why that's the thing she's done there. Yesterday was it yesterday or the day before? I was talking about the Beatles movie. They're doing a biopic, 4 different movies, the Beatles cinematic universe. They're all going to intertwine. It's going to end with the Beatles Secret Wars, and Kang's going to show up and he's going to say, we need some heroes, and it's going to cut to black and say the Beatles will return, and all that great schmiz. And I said that a lot of people have been doing all the jokes already about who should the cast be, who should the cast be. So I've looked through and I found some casting options. Obviously, none of these will happen. A lot of them are impossible to happen. And we're just gonna go through a couple of them right now. We're gonna sort of rank how good they are. A lot of them is just sort of looking at an iconic four and saying these guys should be it, like the Fantastic Four. Why not just chuck them in? They've just been cast as the new four. We can get Eben Moss Barak. Change their name. It's a bit of a mouthful. Vanessa Kirby. She's given Paul McCartney. Pedro Pascal. He's Ringo. If you've ever seen it, I don't know the personalities of any of the Beatles. I don't know why I'm pretending like I do. A lot of people like that. The four, the In-Betweeners, a famous four, a famous quartet. They played the great Beatles. A picture, just someone posted just a picture of One Direction. Obviously, it would be, and in this photo as well, it's One Direction without the Asian one. Sorry, Zayn, but you know, um, at least you being exiled at this point in time is more warranted than you having like no lines in the band before. Was like, oh, there's no reason why that's the case. There's five of us. There wasn't an Asian Beatle, mate. You can play. They had an Asian. One of them had an Asian girlfriend. So if but that's problematic. You'd probably have to hire her. Anyway, what else we got here? The Wiggles. Yeah, great. This one's just a picture of four Howards from Big Bang Theory. Howard Wolowitz. I'm not a Big Bang Theory fan. Please don't group me in with that. Or Young Sheldon, but I do know his name is Howard Wolowitz, and this is just a picture of four of them. And I have to admit, on a quick scroll, you could be confused at thinking that actually is the Beatles. What else we got here? We got this one's just a picture of, it's just straight up Beatles, just four separate Beatles like the insect. That's quite clever. That Dung Beetle, horned beetle, different beetles. That's quite smart. So, people are online, they're doing their memes and their memes and their gifs, gaffs, and, they're having fun casting the Beatles of, insects and How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory characters, and that's great. At least, they're in jest. Some of the real castings that people are making. I mentioned this yesterday. Jacob, like Barry Keoghan, Paul Mescal, Tom Holland as Paul McCartney, and then Jacob Elordi just randomly like all of like a bunch of Beatles, all 5'6", 5 foot nothing, and then just one that's randomly just like Paul, we gotta write a song. I don't know the Beatles. What else we got here? Oh, onto some. Like, I actually think those films will be good though. I like the idea, but onto something that is like just truly abhorrent. And it's two things. I don't want to mention either of them, but how do we transition? How do we segue into this one? Let's just say Avatar: The Last Airbender. More like Avatar: The Last Straw, because I'm at my wit's end. This is the final straw. They've tried it now. It's time to hang it up. And Netflix TV show live adaptation of the cartoon, the sort of American style slash anime, but Americanized kind of cartoonish character of Aang running around, you know, doing all sorts of elemental fun. And he's the airbender, he's the last one, he's the avatar. And what it is all the other avatars are dead or monks or something, and he's the last one, and he's frozen himself in a liquid ball under the surface of the ocean. He's then found by some waterbender and her sexist brother, which they decided was a little bit too not racy, a little bit too not racist, a little bit too. Ooh, that's aged poorly. They seriously looked at like Avatar: The Last Bender and went, "This is aged poorly. We want to like cut that out," which is crazy. Looking at someone like if when you watch, I don't know, it's just stupid, isn't it? Like imagine like looking back and being like, "Oh, that's aged badly." Oh, crazy. When it's like rewatching Iron Man. I was watching someone watch Iron Man because that's a thing people do, and that's the thing I was doing. I was watching someone watch Iron Man on YouTube, the first one, and it's when he's like Tony Stark's in the car, and it's like, oh my god, they let a woman drive this or whatever, the car, whatever, at the beginning of the film, and that um he's like meets this reporter, sleeps with her in like 10 minutes, leaves the guy on the roof. Like he's a playboy, he's young, he's like a billionaire, millionaire, trillionaire, millionaire, billionaire. He's one of those. And it's like going back watching that and being like, oh, yay, yay, this is aged like milk. It's like, no, it's just a part, it's character traits, and ultimately it's part of an arc, which is why it's important, because he then grows and changes. But even if like he doesn't change, you can have characters that are just not the ideals. Like even if that wasn't a part of an arc, right? I get it if it's like it's just for kids and it's being played as laughs and that, then sure you want to change it. But like it's like watching Infinity War and going, wait, sorry, Thanos wants to do what? He wants to get rid of half of all life. Yeah, Doctor Strange said it best. That's genocide. Last time I checked, that's not in. This is aged badly. When we remake the Avengers, because everything gets remade eventually, and we recast in Thanos or whatever, and we're making this now in 2055. Maybe we cut out the bit where Thanos is killing people, because that's a little bit problematic. It's like, no, that's just part of his character. He's just I was gonna say flawed. It's like calling Homelander flawed. They're just straight up bad people or whatever. And I get it's a kids thing. They're like, oh, when the brother says he wants to do things because girls can't do it, we can't have that in our show. But then they also had quotes where like they wanted to add Game of Thrones style themes, which I saw that quote come out after I saw the trailer, and I thought, I mean, that's just something you're saying for a headline of an article. You're saying now to get people to like talking or interested about the show. That is, from watching the trailer, this is just another generic, clean, shiny looking thing. It's not. I don't know why it's the Game of Thrones thing, and I've never seen Game of Thrones, but the fact that the only things I know about it is incest and murder and nudity, probably um, bestiality. I'm just guessing now. It wouldn't surprise me. But it would surprise me if those themes were in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, oh, the brother of the sister can't be misogynistic at the beginning, or he can't be sexist at all. Um, but he can be in a sexual relation with the sister. That's fine because we want the Game of Thrones themes. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure sexism in whatever BC AD 1700s dragons flying around fantasy land historic past that is set in. I'm sure people also on top of all of the incest and the murder are also probably just maybe I don't know a little bit sexist. Why not throw that on top? That feels like that goes without saying. Game of Thrones. But no, aside from all of that, the show just looks shit, and I've heard nothing good about it. And it's came out, and everyone's saying it looks crap and grey and mid, and like I've seen scenes from it. I saw the intro. I didn't even finish. I was so bored when they remake the Fire Nation attacked and this and that, and doing the voiceover. It just and people saying you can't translate it. There is things I think that some things you couldn't translate, or at the moment like Kingpin in the way he is in the comics, in the way you see him. I haven't read comics, but like from what I've heard and what I've like checked into, and the way he like they do him in into the Spider Verse and all that. It's like, yeah, I get you think this guy who plays him in Daredevil was a good actor in that, but like it's not the same, and you can't have a big CGI. I think it just wouldn't work, you know, unless you kind of try to do Hagrid style sort of camera tricks and make him just look bigger with angles and that. It would just no. Regardless, even if it looked realistic, it wouldn't make sense because in reality, no man is just that big without being enhanced or something. Like obviously, you see Hulk running around, but he's got issues. He's got like radiation in his veins. This is just meant to be a normal guy who's just physically imposing, and they really exaggerate that, and you can't do that. That doesn't just translate. You know what I mean? Whereas I don't think that applies to Avatar: The Last Airbender. I think it could very easily be very cool. So I'm just very surprised that twice now. It looks so shit. And outside of if the dialogue's boring or if the story's crap, I don't care about that. I wasn't really gonna watch it anyway. I've seen the original, but like just the scenes where like they're kicking up dirt and kicking it over there, and like the water in the air looks crap, and like I'm just like maybe the air stuff is the only one they can maybe do to a decent level because that's probably the easiest to like do make look cool. But like it's just like wow, it looks so like slow and just crap. Genuinely, I've seen the first Avatar movie, and I know everyone counts it and says it's awful. I feel like from what I remember about it, first of all, like most films that people say are awful, I was probably of an age where I watched it where at the time I thought it was like decent. Like I genuinely, if I'm being honest, at the time when I saw it, I was like, this is pretty cool. Same way how I'd feel about Shark Tale, same way how I feel about Percy Jackson. I haven't watched any of those movies in like over 10 years, but when I saw them at the time, I was like, oh, this is cool, type thing. And if I went back now, I'd be like, oh, yay! I don't know why I keep doing that sound effect, but I'd be like, oh wow, that's not great, probably. But like, I just honestly, from what I've seen of that new shot, I'd be surprised if I watched all of that and thought it was more worth it, especially because it's just longer than just watching the one that everyone clowns on the fucking M Night one, Shyamalan. M Night one. So there's that. Another thing I saw, which was just not great, was the Uncharted 2 script is finished. Why they make an Uncharted 2, even if it's a little bit better than the first one, it's just why they do an Uncharted. Again, that could obviously translate, but you got Mission Impossible and you got James Bond, and unless they were willing to put in that level of like effort in, and not even money, but like direction and just like everything about it, it was always just going to be this kind of cheap, yeah, type thing. And I know Tom Holland's proud of it. in terms of it being a physical role and all the stunts and like learning that kind of stuff. But just as a film, I saw it. It was like so more. It was just like mid. It is the definition of mid. It was just all right. It was like, yep, it's done the thing. It is a movie, like 5 out of 10. They're making a second one. I mean, Mark Wahlberg being even. I don't know. I'm surprised as well because he's doing the stage thing now. He's like in Romeo and Juliet, and he's got like Fred Astaire. Kind of feels like, and obviously he'll be working on probably another Spider-Man, but it feels like, maybe a bit of a transition, different kind of. But then you still got like this Uncharted bad smell just hanging around. It's like, get rid of that, you know. But he's gonna do what he wants to do, and normally it's all well and good doing those roles, but they probably don't pay as well. So it's probably still nice to have some of that big Sony money coming through while doing it. Not that he probably needs it, but who would turn it down? Realistically, the way you look at it, sometimes as an audience member, it's like, why are you doing this? But then, like other times, it's like like you realize, oh, they spent about 26 days filming that, and like it didn't take much preparation. I don't know how much Uncharted took, but like it didn't take much preparation. They spent about 26 days filming it. They did most of it on a sound stage, whatever you call it, but like they did a lot of on location out in like Belgium, and you go to like and out in like Estonia, just like a random country you'd never go to, but then you got to go there for work, and it's like you're traveling for work, and you made lots of money, and you're filming it with like cool people you enjoy working with, and it's 26 days, and it's like a film, and because a film has a big rollout, it's got like the trailer, the teaser, and then the official trailer, and then a third trailer, and then it comes out, and it's this whole thing. It feels like it's a whole longer process you've went through, and sometimes it is that process when you go to culinary school or go do this, and then I was practicing Mandarin for 6 months, and like I pulled, and you're doing all this kind of bullshit, and then the filming process is really long, and then, but a lot of the times I feel like there's a lot of jobs actors do, and it's like before it's just like one of those things you just do. But yeah, that's all. Don't know what number we're on. If I had to make a guess, and I think this might be right, I think it's 344. No, I was trying to do my yeah, 349 would be my guess, but we will see. Which means the next one would be 350. So if so, see you on 350.